Greetings, Planeswalkers. The Gamesman here. Today is black and red spells, so I thought I would share my Sacrificial Fodder deck. I'm sure you can probably guess what it's all about. Sacrificing creatures to do lots of things. So let's get to it. 132 card deck in the standard format. We've got 2 Dockside Chefs for 1 black. We can sacrifice an artifact or creature and draw a card. Eaten Alive for 1 black. We can pay the extra cost of 3 colorless, 1 black, or we can sacrifice a creature to exile a creature or planeswalker. Ecstatic Awakener for 1 black. This is a good card. Considering it's common, we sacrifice another creature for 2 colorless, 1 black, and draw a card. Then we transform Ecstatic Awakener to Awoken Demon 4/4 creature. Feign Death. I'm sure you can see where this will come into play. We've got a creature out that maybe we want to keep, but we need to do the sacrifice mechanic, so we're going to use Feign Death to bring it back for 1 mana with a +1/+1 counter on it. Shambling Ghast, great card. I love cards with options, and this one for 1 black has a great option. We can get rid of a token creature or a small creature, or we can create a treasure token. Village Rites. We can sacrifice a creature and draw 2 cards for 1 black. And Village Rites, the other artwork, which I thought was cool. Deadly Dispute. Additional cost to cast a spell. We sacrifice an artifact or a creature. Draw 2 cards, create a treasure token. Demonic Gifts. We've got a little bit of an attacking kind of a card here for an instant for 1 colorless, 1 black. Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia. This is just basically going to generate a sacrificial creature every turn for us. Necrosynthesis. Because of all the sacrificing going on, we can place this on one of our creatures and it will just boost and boost and boost. And then it's got the added bonus for 1 colorless, 1 black, that when an enchanted creature dies, look at the top X cards of your library where X is its power, put one of those cards into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So that's a great card for an uncommon, I think so, especially. Plumb the Forbidden. If we have enough of those sacrificial creatures out, maybe a bunch of those zombies, we can just start snowballing the sacrificing, and we can draw a card and lose 1 life and get a bunch of cards. Reckoner's Bargain. We gain life equal to the sacrifice permanent's mana value. So if we're using a lot of Plumb the Forbiddens or Lolth later on, we can get some of that life back. Slaughter Specialist. Obviously, this is going to be playing right into that sort of that hand. And Vengeful Strangler. I really like this card. We've got basically a 2/1 pinger because if our opponent has a creature out, they typically don't want to attach Strangling Grasp to it if they know anything about it. So basically we get this 2/1 pinger, and if they decide to destroy it or we choose to sacrifice this creature, then we place it on one of their creatures anyway. Acererak The Archlich. We can create some more zombie tokens if we finally get this thing out. No Way Out. This is a great card. Target opponent discards 2 cards. We create another sacrificial zombie. Skullport Merchant. This is kind of a cornerstone card when it comes to a sacrifice card. We can sacrifice another creature or a treasure, and we draw a card for 1 colorless, 1 black. And it's a 1/4, which is good. It makes a really good blocker. Soul Shatter. We're sacrificing or causing our opponent to sacrifice. Umbral Juke, similar, but we also have the option to create another sacrificial creature. Pair of Goblins. I rarely use the charge them option. It's mostly create 2 1/1 goblin creature tokens. I've kind of debated on whether keeping this card in the deck. Hidetsugu. Devouring Chaos, 3 colorless, 1 black. It's Ogre Demon, a 4/4. We can pay 1 black, sacrifice creature, scry 2, or 2 colorless, 1 red. We can exile the top card of our library. You may play this card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hidetsugu, Devouring Chaos deals damage equal to the exile card's mana value to any target. Definitely a late game mechanic. I don't know that I've ever even done that more than, say, once, because this speed rules in Magic right now. Novice Dissector, Troll Warlock, 3/3, 3 colorless, 1 black. Pay 1, sacrifice another creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, activate as a sorcery. The nice thing about that is, as for this common card, we don't have to tap the creature. So we can generate a big blocker if we want. Death-Priest of Myrkul, Skeletons, Vampires, and Zombies. Get +1/+1, and then we can create 1/1 black skeleton creature tokens when we sacrifice stuff. And just create more sacrifice creatures. Zariel, Archduke of Avernus. Creatures we control get +1 in haste for 1. Or we can just create Red Devil creature tokens that we can then sacrifice and deal 1 damage to people. And then if we get him high enough, which doesn't take long, obviously, he comes out with 4 counters. And all we need is to get to 6 at the end of the first combat phase on your turn. Untap target creature you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. And Anje, if that's how you pronounce it, Anje, maybe? Maid of Dishonor. This is a good card. Legendary Vampire, rare. For only 2 colorless, 1 black, 1 red. When she enters the battlefield, we can create a blood token. Triggers once per turn. We can sacrifice another creature or a blood token. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain life. Also, there's another thing in here that does blood tokens. I can't remember. Anyway, we can it creates blood tokens basically, and we can use those as well. All right, on to the 5 mana, and this is a little rare for me. I don't typically have big mana cards in my decks because it makes them slower, but we've got a lot of 1s and 2s in here. Drider. Good card, uncommon, reach. Whenever Drider deals combat damage to a player, create a 2/1 black spider creature token with menace and reach. It's a nice token, a 4/3 creature, and we just basically make more fodder. Lolth, the Spider Queen. As we're sacrificing our creatures, we're bumping up her counter, and we can create more with the spider creature tokens. And then, of course, -8, which is a pretty nice mechanic if you can get that high, that quick. We've got Tergrid, God of Fright, or Tergrid's Lantern, both good cards. I think in this case, I'm more apt to use God of Fright in this deck, which works well with Soul Shatter and Umbral Juke. We can take our opponent's cards and put them into play under our control, which is good. Swarming Goblins, we're creating tokens. Goldspan Dragon, we're creating more treasure tokens. Professor Onyx, we can get them to sacrifice more creatures, which then feeds into Tergrid. And then we have some instants and sorceries, etc. They're losing 2 life or gaining 2 life. Earth Cult Elemental, we either get the roll for each player sacrifices a permanent. We should be sacrificing a token. Our opponent, more than likely not. Then our opponent sacrifices a permanent, or our opponent sacrifices 2. That's actually triggered in a couple games I've had, which is pretty awesome. All right, and then we just have the lands. Hostile Hotel, creeping in. That goes along with the sacrifice. Lightstep Pathway, Immersturm's Skullcairn. It's a little bit of an extra damage thing in there. Sulphurous Mire and Shimmerdrift Veil. So there's a lot of these decks out there. There's a lot of takes on these decks. This is my take. It's a fun deck to play. I think the sacrifice mechanic is a pretty easy one to generate a good deck with, especially with, the more and more cards come out that when they leave the battlefield, there's some sort of mechanic, it's very handy. So please subscribe to my channel. Please like and comment on this video and let me know how you think this deck works. If you want to build a deck like this, have at it. This is the Gamesman saying, happy Memorial Day weekend, and remember what it's all about. The sacrifice that our soldiers have made for us. Have a good weekend. See you next time.